Hello and welcome to BIO105, Environmental Biology. My name is Melinda McKinney and I am your instructor for this online course. It's 100% online, so we don't have any in-person meetings or any Zoom meetings. And so it's basically you diving into your textbook, diving into some of the videos that I post. They're not lecture-based, so they're mostly either done by third parties. I found that when I post lectures, no one watches them. So it's mostly you and the textbook and some animations and videos and your lab kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to orient you to the course. And so I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Desktop one. It's been a while since I taught Zoom. So here we go. Share. Okay. So close that down. All right, so we're going into Canvas, which is where you'll find everything for this course. And so the first thing is the syllabus. It's on the links on the side or at the bottom, depending upon your format. And you can find a link there to the full syllabus. It's a Google Doc, and you can make a copy of that or just download it for yourself for future reference. So it's Bio 105. Let me pull this open a little bit bigger. Okay. So my office, should you ever want to come and visit me, is on the Lone Tree campus in Flagstaff. It's 524. My preferred method of contact is through email, but you can call me. And of course, you can stop by my office or make a meeting on Zoom. So just send me an email through Canvas and we'll set up a Zoom meeting time. My office hours, I will always be there Monday and Wednesday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. And let's see, so required materials, we do have a textbook and it's got a little penguin on it. It is available at the bookstore and you can purchase a hard copy. Looks like this. So, whoa, this is a little challenging with the background, but it is that little penguin. And so you can get that at the bookstore. Fairly low cost. I know it's less than $50, should be less than $50. Or you can get the ebook version, which I think is kind of comparable in price. So you have those two options. And there's also a lab kit. So that's the big thing I want to emphasize, is that you will be doing some physical at-home labs. And so there's a kit from our vendor, which is eSciece, and it has several labs in there. So you'll want to purchase that. You can, if you're not in town, you can get it delivered. It's like a flat $8 fee and they'll ship it to you. There's a link to the bookstore, and you want to get on that as soon as possible so you can get that lab kit within the first 2 weeks. You'll need your textbook this week right away. We have a quiz this week and it requires you to read the textbook. So you have to get your textbook right away this week. But the lab kit, if for some reason you need a little more time on that, just get it within the first 2 weeks. You're going to start your lab that third week, where you're going to need to have the seeds in there to germinate. Okay, when you get your kit, open it up, look at it. I think there's a QR code for the inventory list if there's not a hard copy. If you're missing anything at all, just hit this link and then you can tell them what you're missing and they should ship it to you within 48 hours. So they're really good about that, but you have to let them know if something's missing or if some bottles, sometimes you want to check your bottles and make sure there's contents in there and they're not empty. Usually they're pretty good, but it's worth checking early. So for this course, you of course need reliable internet and access it to, I say 8 hours a week, just because I want to be safe. You're going to need to access the online quizzes. You'll need to access the modules for the eScience, and you'll need to access some of the videos. So definitely make sure that you have a computer. You want to have a working webcam. So you have to make sure that you have active video and active audio, so your microphone works. And that's because we use a remote proctoring software called Proctorio, and that just shuts down your browser windows, doesn't allow you to go to anything else and look up stuff on the internet while you're taking your exams. We'll be using those for the multi-chapter exams and for the final. For the weekly exams, like there's one this week, you can actually, that does not require Proctorio. You can actually get in there and access the quiz, exit out of your browser without hitting submit, even come back to it later. It's open book, it's open resource, but the the larger exams are require Proctorio. If you can't get Proctorio to work for some reason, you can always come to a CCC campus, here in Flagstaff or up in Page during those hours. Okay. And when you install Proctorio, there's some instructions, but basically if you just search for install Proctorio, it'll bring you to a window. You install a little plugin, and then it basically is usually really quick to enable. If you have any issues with that, there's a live chat, and you can talk with them about diagnosing any issues you might have. Okay, so this course content is really on ecology, looking at how living organisms interact with their environment. And we will spend some time talking about energy resources and things like that. And you can look through this. I won't read you the whole syllabus, or we'll be here for hours. So I'll let you do that. Academic integrity is really important. So this is a writing intensive course. So if you do plagiarize, then you can fail the course, reported to the, academic affairs. So please don't do that. It's really important that you paraphrase all of your words in this course. And I want to emphasize right now, there are no direct quotes in this course. So it's not a ton of writing. It's a writing intensive, but it's not crazy. And I try to keep it so that you're paraphrasing, so that I know that you actually understand the material and it's in your own words. So I don't like to see, when I initially taught this course, I just get chunks of, quoted material, quoted material, quoted material. And it wasn't clear that the students understood. So it's all paraphrased. So make sure you're paraphrasing. It will all be assessed with the software. Turn it in to check online and in our database for other students to make sure that there's no plagiarism occurring. Okay, so attendance, you need to actually participate in this course during the first week, which means doing an assignment, not just logging in. So you have to participate by doing the syllabus quiz or some other sort of assignment. Otherwise, you'll be dropped from the course. Okay. For COVID this semester, you're not on campus. As long as you're not on campus, I don't think you have to worry so much about the reporting, but we do have a report form if you do contact COVID. And if you are sick, with COVID and it's going to impact your grades, you have to submit that form so that I'm able to give you any sort of accommodation. Okay, so late work policy, this is important. So right away, again, writing assignments, discussions, presentations, no late assignments. That's a big X. So nothing like, oh, my computer died. I have to submit this late. Get it in early. They're going to be posted early. You have, time to do that. So you shouldn't be waiting to the last minute. So writing assignments, which are going to be like drafts and peer reviews and your final reports, also the weekly discussion. So there's going to be an initial post that's due early in the week and a final post that's due later in the week. And those, again, if you don't get it in on time, you get 0 points, and 0 points if you miss the presentation date. So please don't test me on this. I don't like to give zeros, but I will. So with the chapter quizzes and laboratory reports, there is a late window for those. If you get it in within 7 days, I take 25% off. That's just for the chapter quizzes and the lab reports. And then after 7 days, that's a 0. For exams, you have to contact me ahead of time. Otherwise, there's no late exams. Okay, correspondence, I talked about that. You should email me through Canvas. So assignment descriptions, there's a syllabus quiz this week. That's just covering the contents of the syllabus, and it requires Proctorio. Not because I'm so concerned that you're going to be cheating, but I want to make sure that your Proctorio is actually working so that you have your active webcam, that you have your active microphone, and that you're testing it. So that's a big part there. You can take it as many times as you wish. So if you make a mistake, just take it again for the specific syllabus quiz, not on the other quizzes. Laboratory reports, you'll generally have 1 laboratory report a week. We're going to start off with the eScience, but it's a module where all you need is a ruler. And so you get your own, if you have to get the ruler, but that's all you're going to need for that module this week. And then next week we have an online iNaturalist assignment that I wrote. And then the 3rd week is where we're hitting you're turning in the eScience. Now for eScience, for those laboratory reports, they can take Sometimes they take multiple weeks, 4 to 5 weeks is one of the labs, because you're growing plants. The first lab actually that you're doing that requires the physical kit, it requires germination of seeds. So that's 7 days. So you need to start your lab early. So for all of the labs, you want to be aware, looking into them early and thinking about, oh, what can I do to get this done early so I'm not behind? Okay, and I'll give you a heads up on those, but you really want to make sure that you're reading it no later than the first day of the week. Okay. So, and for that third lab, where you're germinating the seeds, you actually have to start that the week before. Okay, so, okay, chapter quizzes, we talked about that. So the chapter quizzes, those are really reading quizzes. We have this really nice textbook that is new this semester. And I love the content. We were able to get it low priced. It's really high quality material. And so I want you to utilize it. And I know that if I just ask you to read it and don't test you on anything in here, that's probably not going to happen. So this is an open resource chapter quiz. There are specific details that are in here that you're going to need to open your book and look at. It's going to be hard to guess them correctly. And so that's going to require you to read your book, hopefully. I think you'll really benefit from it, and I hope you like it. Again, if you use the chapter quizzes, you can close out using your browser window. Just do not hit submit. Once you hit submit, you can't go back in and change any answers or add any additional material. And I'm not able to open that back up for you. You'd have to start over again if you made some crazy mistake. Okay. Chapter and final exams are going to be closed resource using Proctorio. Writing assignments are going to be assessed for plagiarism. And then we do have a final presentation that you'll do as a video presentation. You'll submit that. And then the following week, all of the other students in the class will look at all of the videos. It's basically a week-long project where you're going to assess all of the other students' presentations and then write a report on that. Okay. So the course evaluation, this is just what's in the course, syllabus quiz. There's a plagiarism quiz that's also due this week. Really important for this course since it is writing intensive and plagiarism is an issue. So had to really be pretty hardcore on implementing penalties there. So just ensuring that you know what plagiarism is, like you can't turn in a paper that you did for another class, and you need to put citations on all of the sources that you use. And we'll go into the citation format later, but so that's the plagiarism quiz. Lab reports, there's 11 of those. The lowest lab report is going to be dropped, and the lowest chapter quiz is going to be dropped, and the lowest weekly discussion is going to be dropped. So if you have some crazy emergency or you just do really poorly on one, then that's a freebie. So the lowest one is going to be dropped. That happens automatically. It doesn't happen at the end. So your score's kind of artificially inflated as you go through. It just, as soon as you have 2 scores, it's going to drop the lowest one. Okay, then we've got one major outline, draft, review, and report that you're going to write. It's only 1,500 words for this paper, so it's really not terribly long. It is scientific writing, so scientific writing is concise, so it should be dense in terms of lots of material, lots of numbers, quantitative facts, and we'll go over that. I'll give you that information in the instructions. So you have 1 presentation report, 3 chapter exams, a final exam, and that totals 100%. Okay, so here is the semester calendar. And you can access it here. It's at the end of your syllabus and it goes through. So I guess I'll start here at the week 1. We're going over chapter 1, understanding our environment, and lab 1 is starting this week. So you do have a lab this week. It's for eScience scientific measurements. And even though it's eScience, like I said, all you need is a ruler for this one. So you'll be set on that one, but there is a module plugin in this week's module. The syllabus quiz is due on Friday of this week, September 2nd. On Saturday, September 3rd, quiz 1 over chapter 1 is due. And on Sunday, the plagiarism quiz is due. So those are 3 items that are due this week. It is a Labor Day weekend, so you may want to get ahead. So I went ahead and put in, oh yeah, so the lab is available for you to get started on this week. It's in module 1 so that you can work ahead and you're not stressing at the beginning of next week because the lab's going to be due Thursday, September 8th. Okay, so week 2, again, we're continuing that lab 1. You need to get that in by Wednesday. And we're not really observing holidays in here because everything's going to be posted early, but I do realize that Monday is a holiday. Your discussion, you have an initial discussion post that is due by Tuesday. So this is another like, hello, pay attention to this moment. The discussions, the initial discussion post will not have a due date in Canvas. So the reason for that is it's one assignment. It's got an initial post where you post something and then you've got replies for your peers. So there's only one assignment for the discussion. So there's one due date that shows up in Canvas, but I need you to post early so that you give your peers time to reply. So you have to get it in on Tuesday, your initial post. If you get it in on Wednesday, it's 0 points, right? So get it in on Tuesday and then get your next post in by Friday. Okay, you can do all of these early if you'd like. That discussion is actually open now too, so you can get ahead on that. So you can do the week 2 discussion, you can do the week 2 lab. And then the only thing that I need to post, which I'll get done pretty soon, is the quiz for next week. Okay, so you can go through the rest of these and, you know, just look ahead. Let's see, our first exam is going to be September 27th. That's going to be on Tuesday. And then we've got another exam too on October 25th. And we've got exam 3 down here on November 29th. And then the final exam is due December 15th. Okay, so the other things that are going to pop up later are going to be in this right-hand column over here. The report outline. So there's nothing due Sunday until we get past the plagiarism quiz, which is this week, to October 16th. And that's going to be your report outline. So we're going to start the writing assignments due there, the report outline, and then you have your report draft, your peer review, and your final report. That is the overview of everything in the course. If you have any questions on that, you can always email me again through Canvas and we can talk over Zoom. Okay, so a few more things I just want to show you through the course visually. So home. Oh, another thing on that syllabus page is that you can click on the semester calendar and that actually takes you to the Google Sheets document, which is a little bit easier to navigate. If there's any changes that I make to the course in terms of the due dates, I'll also update that. But Canvas is really going to be important as well. So the only thing Canvas won't show you for the due dates, again, is that initial discussion post. Okay, so I'm going back to home. Here's our welcome. And I think it just says a little bit about the course and take a look at the syllabus. So this module, which contains, this course is organized in modules. It's going to have 16 modules. There's 16 weeks. And each week you'll have an overview of what is expected of you that week, the resources that you'll need for that week, and then all of the assignments listed in there. So week 1 module overview. And I have a little bit in here for next week because of the Labor Day weekend and just so you guys can get ahead. I know students like to work ahead, so I try to open up those modules early. So for week 1, syllabus quiz, due date Friday, September 2nd, quiz 1, September 3rd, plagiarism quiz, September 4th. Okay. And again, that quiz 1, you need your textbook for that. You're going to have to look through it to get those answers. So make sure you get your textbook, go to the bookstore and get that textbook. Okay. Discussion initial post is, so the first thing that's not going to show up is Tuesday, September 6th. So you want to get that calendar. I would just print out the semester schedule and make sure you know when those initial posts are going to be due. Make a Post-it note, stick it on your computer, put an alarm on your phone to make sure you get those initial posts in. So the first initial post is due Tuesday, September 6th, and that's an introductory discussion. So you're going to tell us about yourself and you're going to ask a question to your peers and they'll reply. So the first lab is due Thursday, September 8th, and then the discussion final post when you reply to the question posed by your peers is September 9th. Okay, so I can go down here and click next, and then I go to the next page in the module. So Chapter 1 resources, Chapter 1 is understanding the environment. Here is the study guide. So this is going to be very helpful for you. It is an open resource chapter quiz, so maybe it's not as critical as if that was closed resource, but I think it's really important as well just to guide your study so you're going through it, because the exams that are multi-chapter are closed resource. So you'll want to use this, and this is going to be to help you guide your study, right? So if we ever happen to skip a section or something, I'll let you know it won't be included in here. So definitely take advantage of this. It has your key vocabulary and chapter headings and what to focus on for those. I don't know if I said this already, but the chapter quizzes are going to have much more specific information. So like I'm looking for numbers that I won't necessarily expect you to memorize, like, oh, it's, well, I will expect you to know it's about 7.8 billion people on the planet, but that's a key one. But I won't expect you to know, like, there's 441 stock fisheries that are 75% depleted. That may be on an open resource quiz because you have your textbook and I'm asking you to look it up and I want to know you're in there. But it's not going to be so detailed on a multi-chapter exam. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, there's a couple short videos. I'm going to try to keep these really short. So like 5 minutes, no more than 10 minutes each, and not put more than 1 or 2 of those per week. It's easy for me just to go crazy and like put 10 in there, but I want to just keep it straightforward. I really want you to be reading your book. Okay. Oh, the discussion is locked, but this is where you'll get to the discussion for introduce yourself. That'll open. I'm doing this on Sunday, but this is going to be posted on Monday. Same thing with the syllabus quiz. You can get in that way. And your chapter quiz, you can get into all of these when they open. Your plagiarism quiz. Okay. All right. Okay. And actually, that's the end of the module 1 quizzes. And now this is the BIO105 kit information. It has, again, the number if you need help from eScience and the contact form if you have anything missing. It just discusses the labs we're going to go over and the time that is going to be required. So you're also going to get another sheet when you go into the eScience module that has the estimated time on it. But this one I just wanted to highlight for lab 1. The seeds take 7 days to germinate, maybe a little bit longer. So it's not warm and happy for the seeds. And then later on, lab 5, it's going to take 7 days for one of the exercises, and you're going to continue that lab 5. So it's really important you do lab 5 because you're going to take your plants that you plant and you're going to water them and take care of them for 4 more weeks. And you're going to be analyzing those as you go. Okay. All right. So eScience. This is the instructions for eScience. So it says you can complete it even if you don't have your physical kit. So please don't send me an email saying, I don't have my kit, I can't do lab 1. So lab 1, you just need your ruler and you're going to, first you're going to do a get started module. You're going to read through the safety procedures. You're going to print out your safety contract. You're going to sign it. You're going to upload it through Canvas. Step 2 for the same lab report is going to be the actual experiment. So then you go into this next eScience module and you're going to go through that, and I'll actually just walk you through that, but you're going to go through that. That's where you have your lab drill. You'll take a screenshot of it, and your lab procedure that you'll print out and fill out, and your report. So let me go next. Okay, so this is the eScience. This is still in that module. This is the eScience page. So it's called Getting Started, right? And actually, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to jump out of here real quick. I'm going to go back to modules. I'm going to show you that I'm in week 1. So we went through the overview, the resources, the discussion, the syllabus quiz, the chapter 1 quiz, plagiarism quiz. I had just clicked ahead to get through those. I just talked about the purchase information, and now I talked about the assignment in Canvas where you're going to submit your lab report. And now here in the module, there's these little icons on the side. It looks like a chain link, and those indicate that it's eScience. So those are plugins that are from the eScience vendor. One is called Getting Started, and one is called Scientific Measurements. Okay. So that's where we're going to have the information that you learn a little bit about the background for the lab. You do your drill, you print out some stuff, you do your lab, take your selfies of yourself doing the lab, and then you're going to upload your report to this Canvas assignment, because you can't upload to these eScience ones. So you're going to upload lab 1 to this Canvas assignment that's due September 8th. Okay, so I'm going to click again on Getting Started. And then you can click through these pages. So you can click next, or you can just click down, and it's going to talk about what eScience is. It has a little video you can watch on it. Safety data, the packing list, equipment, what the equipment is, and preparing for the exercises, cleanup, lab safety video. And then at the end, this is where you download your lab safety contract. So you click on this, you get your lab safety contract, you download it, put it in your downloads, you fill it out. It's a fillable form if you have any allergies or anything. And then you can just type in your name and the date, maybe use a different font for your signature. The course is BIO105 Environmental Biology. Okay, so that was in the Getting Started last page. And then there's also this resource, which is good for you. It's Environmental Science Time and Materials. It has a list of all of the labs in eScience. We are not doing all of them. We're going to do a subset, and those are listed in the course. But for each lab, it has the time required. So like 3 hours plus 7 to 10 days observation. So that's for lab 1, which is Introduction to Science. So again, don't freak out. These numbers are not the same as the numbers for the labs as listed in the syllabus. So eScience has its own numbering system. I decided not to do lab 1 first because I wanted to give you a little bit of extra time to get your lab kit. And since lab 2 didn't require anything but a ruler, I'm starting with lab 2. Okay. So just know that the eScience numbers do not align with the syllabus numbers, but it tells you the time required, and then it tells you any additional materials. So like for this first one, let me blow it up here. The additional materials that you need are tap water, a paper towel, permanent marker, 5 resealable bags, and some sort of camera. So you can use your phone. So you want to look through it, make sure for the labs that you have everything you need. So in some of them, I know we're doing biodiversity, paper towels. We're not doing all these. Like we're not doing rock and minerals. We're not doing soil. Yeah, it's not too there's not too many extra things. I think for one of them, the climate change one, which I was trying to get down here too, is it wants you to have a light bulb. And when they wrote this, I imagine most people had warm light bulbs, like incandescent light bulbs that are pretty warm. So if you have one of those, that would be great. But you do need like a light bulb for this last one, because you're going to be looking at the effect of, heat, temperature for climate change. Okay, so don't worry, I'm almost done. Then, so that's the getting started materials. Here's your actual lab for the first lab you're going to submit. And so you go through, it always has some background material, talks about SI scientific, international scientific units, the metric system, and then there's some knowledge checks. So these are for your own benefit. So which of the following are SI units? Let's see. Kilogram, second. Let's see what we get. Oh, good. We did good. Okay, so those aren't graded. So you can go through those. But at the end, you will find, once you click through everything down here, it's called a lab drill. And you do need to complete this successfully, which means 80% or higher, and take a screenshot of it to submit with your lab report. So you go through these. You're also going to, you're going to, get your answers here, click through them, and at the end, you'll get a score. Okay, so I got a 0. So this is not going to get me points. So but you take a screenshot, you need to get 80% or higher. You can take this as many times as you want and submit that as an upload along with your lab report. Okay. So that's the lab drill. The last thing in this eScience module is the page where you have your lab procedures. So there are multiple exercises in each lab. So in this lab, there's 3 exercises. Each exercise has its own procedure. So exercise 1 is on unit conversions. You click on that and you download it, and then you get your procedure for that experiment. In this case, this first exercise is just doing some calculations. So there's, like I said, there's the only thing you need for this lab's a ruler. This first one's on paper. And even the next one, exercise 2, is also just on paper. You're doing significant digits. The last one is where you're actually going to be asked to get some paper, crumple it up, measure some flight times, do some error analysis. So anytime that you do a physical lab, you will need to take a selfie of yourself doing the lab, or take a picture of yourself of the lab in progress with your ID. So if you don't want to be in the picture, that's fine, but it needs to be the lab in progress. So what I don't want to see is just, open up your kit, pull out the inventory and take a picture of that. It needs to be actually in progress or after you've done it. And then I need a selfie with every exercise that requires the physical lab, so I know that you're actually doing it and not just making up data. So I want to see that you've done it. Okay. And that all is described. All of this information is described in the instructions. Okay. And that should be it. So now we've reached the end of week 1. Okay. That is what I have. And again, please don't hesitate to stop by in person, give me an email, set up a Zoom call. I'm here for you. And yeah, I welcome you to the course. It's fun content, I think, and I hope you enjoy it. So, all right. Bye-bye. Stop the recording.